Today, I thought it would be fun to talk through all of my wardrobe plans and goals for 2025, but I don't want to just talk, so I thought that I might do just my everyday makeup. So you have something to look at? Yeah, this is just going to be a cozy one. Get a drink, get your makeup bag, declutter your closet, wash your dishes. Join me is what I'm trying to say. Join me as we chat about wardrobe stuff. My hair is looking especially large right now. I washed it last night. I really go back and forth as to whether I should wash my hair at night or in the morning, but I just washed it and slept on it wet, and this is what we have. So it really is very hit or miss. Humidity is a huge factor, and we're just gonna go with it. I don't have time to do any more maintenance other than showering. My baby is sleeping right now, and I just brought down all of the things that I could think of for an everyday makeup look. I tend to just have a makeup routine that I decide on and then I stick with for several months, and then I'll get bored of it or want to switch things up, and I'll change out the products, and then I'll stick with that again for the next few months. So this is just my current go-to routine. I've already done skincare. I'm using a tallow moisturizer right now, which I'm really liking. And then I put sunscreen over that, an e.l.f. one that I actually got free with a pickup grocery order. They just put 2 e.l.f. sunscreens in the bag. So that's what I've been using. Let's get this mop out of the way. That'll do, pig. That'll do. I'm gonna do my best to mention the things that I'm using, but if not, I'll also have a list of the products in the description box below. Starting with the iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. I like this. I've used a good amount of it, a third of it probably. With primers, I don't know. I just never feel like I can really tell a difference. I like this one because it is glowy. That's my main reason, but I can never really tell a difference with primers in terms of keeping the makeup in place. And so for that reason, it feels like a bit of a hoax. It's definitely a step in my makeup routine that I'm comfortable skipping when push comes to shove, but I like the glow that this one gives. So for those of you who are new around here, I have historically struggled with overconsumption and compulsive shopping. At the worst of times, retail therapy. I don't know. We all know that's just an excuse. I'm not here to get into the psychology of it. I've struggled with compulsive shopping. Because of that, I've had to be pretty intentional about my shopping behaviors across the board. And like anyone who struggles with something compulsively, I think that there are certain areas where you find it harder to restrain yourself. So for me, that is homeware, skincare, makeup, and clothing. I used to struggle the same amount across all 4 of those categories, but over the years, slowly, category by category, I have found the ability to restrain myself a lot easier. And there are some areas where I feel like I don't struggle anymore at all. So skincare would be an example of that. That was probably the first area where I really found myself shifting away from those more compulsive tendencies. And while I used to be buying and buying and buying more than I could use, more than I could need, I ended up settling on a routine that I really love, that's really effective for me, and I just don't struggle in that category anymore. And then over these previous 2 years, 2023 and 2024, I've started to have that happen with my makeup collection. With anything in life that is good, it has taken time. Anything in life that's worth doing, it takes time. But I have noticed that I am able to exercise that muscle of self-control in the area of makeup. And because of that, that muscle is stronger than it's ever been before. And while makeup used to be a category that I really struggled to resist or really struggled to not overspend, overconsume on, it is no longer that way. I think last year in 2024, I only purchased 10 makeup items, which I'm actually getting together my makeup inventory right now. That'll be a video coming up. I feel really proud and happy with where my relationship with makeup and with makeup spending has settled. I just put on the MAC Face and Body. I have the shade N1. With my spending in relation to homeware, that was never really as bad as the other categories. So really the final frontier with kind of the most intense, over-consuming, compulsive shopping tendencies, the last frontier for me is clothing. That is the area where I've struggled the most to define what is enough and to kind of draw the line in the sand and let myself be content with what I have. Recently, I've been experiencing a lot more contentment, however, in the area of clothing, which leads me to believe that it is going to be the next area where I really am able to totally relax, like the way that it's become with skincare and like the way it is starting to become with makeup. I find that the more that you practice self-control in a particular area and the more that you do the work, it just feels easier and easier to continue to do the work. And maybe even it starts to feel less like work. But part of that for me is being intentional. I really wanted to think this year, even though I have started to feel those first few inklings of contentment in my wardrobe, I really want to be intentional about that relationship with my closet. I want to have my focus there and be intentional and develop some goals in that area. So I've been thinking about it, and I don't think I will be able to tell you while I do this eyebrow gel, at least not very well. So let's do the eyebrow gel and then I'll tell you. I have very sparse at the end of my brows. The tail of my brow is much sparser than the rest of my hair, but there's hair there. It's just quite blonde or something. I don't know. I used to be very blonde naturally all the way through college, and then I had babies and the hormones just changed my hair color. So one of the main goals that I have for my closet is to just bring in less this year. I have the idea of maybe doing 12 items this year, 1 item a month, but I feel like I would be satisfied with anywhere between 10 to 15 pieces. Like if I got to the end of the year and I'd only purchased 15 pieces, I would count that a success. Because really my aim, it's not about the number of pieces, but it's more about enforcing intentionality. I want to be mindful about the things that I bring in and not just bring things in willy-nilly. So if I get to the end of the year and I've purchased 15 things intentionally and mindfully and thoughtfully and other synonyms for those words, then I will be happy. I will be happy because my goal is to cultivate that type of habit of buying. I'm just using the Clé de Peau Concealer. I got this at TJ Maxx. I do not think that I would purchase this full price, though it does work well. So yeah, I think it would be interesting to try out and see if I could only purchase around that number of items this year, around 12 items. Like I mentioned, I only purchased 10 items of makeup last year, and that felt really good, really controlled. I don't know, like that habit of buying makeup wasn't something that was getting away from me, like something I was able to take part in and enjoy from a grounded, settled place. Because in general, I don't want to go to any extreme and stay there. I don't feel like that is healthy or wise, at least for me. Occasionally, it can be okay to go to an extreme just for the sake of experimentation or just for the sake of breaking a habit, but in general, that's not where I want to live. I want to be able to find a balance. And so that means that I want to be able to purchase items for my closet and have fun with clothing and not just say, because you struggled with overconsumption in the past, you are no longer allowed to buy any clothing ever. If that's what you want to do, maybe, but that's not what I want to do. That doesn't feel like life to me. I want to enjoy it in a balanced way, and I want to develop the habits now that will help me do that. Aim for 12 items and be intentional with my purchases. So some of that means having accountability, running my clothing purchases past my husband. He's my best friend and he's right here in the house. If I'm, up late at night and I'm thinking about purchasing something, I'm gonna ask him first, tell him, I don't know, be like, hey, remember those jeans that I was talking about? I think I'm gonna buy them. I'm gonna try them on, see how they fit. And, then he knows. And it's not this kind of hidden away, squirrely thing that it tended to be in the past, or it had the capacity to be in the past when I was doing it compulsively. If I'm doing it and it's healthy, then there's no reason to be ashamed of it. And so there's no reason why I couldn't tell him. And if I'm starting to feel those feelings of not wanting to tell him, then that's saying to me, that's showing me that perhaps I'm feeling some shame around the purchase that I'm thinking about making. A couple other strategies that I've found helpful in terms of bringing that intentionality into my clothing purchases is to wish list and wait. Establish a waiting period between when I think about buying a thing, when I discover a thing, or when I decide, hey, maybe I want to get that, and when I actually make the purchase. Because the majority of the time, any sort of urgency that I might be feeling around the purchase, whether I think it's going to go away, it's manufactured. It's manufactured by the people who are trying to sell me that thing. They have done their homework. They really know about human psychology. They know how our brains work, and they know that we don't want to miss out. But that's not always the best for us. That's not for our benefit. And I find that I've only been able to make better decisions around my spending in general and clothing in specific when I take a little bit of time and space. And the majority of time, the things are not going anywhere. They're going to be there, or they will come back into stock. The urgency is manufactured. A Bare Minerals bronzer, Endless Summer bronzer in the shade Faux Tan, very loved. And then I also used the Makeup by Mario Self Sculpt, boy, Transforming Skin Enhancer. I have the shade Light Medium. So what have I said so far? 12 items of clothing, wait before purchasing, and take part in closet playtime, dressing up with the stuff that I have, making outfits, taking pictures of those outfits. All of that helps me to stay content and stay grounded in what is actually true about my wardrobe and my preferences. And honestly, if I find myself kind of restless and wanting, a little closet playtime session can go a really, really long way in kind of scratching that itch. It's just fun, I think, that I'm seeking, and novelty. And so creating different outfits, for instance, can definitely go a long way in helping with that. In terms of specific things that I'm interested in, I would love to add a pair of tan or canvas overalls, something in a lighter color, beige or tan, or not white, but a soft white, perhaps. I would be open to a soft white. That's on my list. And then also I would love a pair of high-waisted, wide leg pants that are long enough for me. I'm 5'11" and I don't have many jeans, which is my main go-to pant, that actually go all the way to the floor and are nice and warm around my ankles in the winter. So I think it would be nice to have a pair that does that, that also fits me at the waist. I have really struggled with my body change after this third pregnancy. It has just taken my body so long to kind of settle out into its new form. I have pretty bad diastasis recti, ab separation. My waist can fluctuate many, many inches, even in a day. So finding pants that are comfortable around my waist has proven to be a challenge. So I would love to get a pair that actually fits me, that feels so comfortable around my waist, that is high enough, that actually hits me at the small of my waist. I love a high-waisted jean, and also is long enough. High enough and long enough. This is what I would like. Things are looking very stark, but that's also because my eyes are bare. So bear with me, huh? And we'll get to the eyes eventually. This is the MAC Mineralized Blush in the shade Sweet Enough. What else? I think I need to replace my black leggings, and I would love to do that with a pair that is more washed black. I don't love the look of black, but that's the majority of leggings. The majority of black leggings are not washed black, they're stark black. So I would love to look for a pair that looks a little faded, maybe even acid wash, something like that. That's only 3 items, so that still leaves plenty more things that I could potentially purchase within the 12 items in the year. I think another goal is that with anything that I add in, I want to make sure that they fit with everything else that I have, because I have reached this place where I love my wardrobe and it includes mostly my favorite things. I want to use those favorite things as a framework or a filter for whether something is actually going to be a good fit for my closet. A couple of thoughtful spending techniques that I wrote down. If I'm thinking about bringing a particular thing in, pull 3 items from my closet that I can make outfits from with the new item. Does it work in 2 to 3 life scenarios that happen every week? And does it work for me specifically? Really differentiating between appreciating beauty generally and what actually suits me and my life. But that first one, in particular, the pull 3 items from my closet that can make outfits with the new item. The reason why I know, for instance, that the tan overalls would be a good fit for my closet is that whenever I think about them, there's a particular pair that I'm thinking about that's from Free People. Whenever I think about them, I immediately start running through outfits that I can make with the things that I already have. And it's almost endless, the options that pop up into my mind. Almost every single thing that I own, tops-wise, could go with them. I'm imagining sweaters over top. I'm imagining them with the shoes that I have. And it's just like click, click, click. They fit. So that's a good sign to me. Another thing that I would like to do is to fix a couple of things that are in my current wardrobe to make them usable. I have a pair of Blundstones that I would love to resole. And then I also have a jumpsuit that I know I would get a ton of wear out of if I got it tailored. I actually I asked the company if they would send me any scraps of the fabric. Really, the problem with the jumpsuit is the length. Do we see a theme? The length, it's too short in the body. I'm gonna see if I can get a tailor to add fabric to the straps in order to help with that issue. So those are two things that I want to get done. I would also love to make some things for my wardrobe. I started knitting a top last year. I'm about halfway done and I want to finish it. I had the goal last year of knitting one item of clothing for myself and I got halfway there, which, considering that I have 3 children, I'm gonna call that a win. I know there are some mamas out there who do all the things and are highly motivated and highly productive, and that is so wonderful if that's your personality. I struggle. I struggle. So knitting half a top is more than knitting no top. Let that sit with you. This is the kind of motivation, right? Is that why you're here? There's no way to not look like a fool while you do your mascara. No way. Especially when you forget to bring a mirror down. Do I have a mirror somewhere? Another thing that I'd like to do in terms of making my clothes is to break out my sewing machine. My husband very sweetly surprised me with a sewing machine on Christmas morning, and I have never touched a sewing machine in my life. So I'm scared. For my birthday coming up, the thing that I told my husband I wanted to do was set up a spot for me to sew. Maybe take this desk and put it upstairs in our room. Just do something where I can have the sewing machine out and have a project going without worrying that little kids are going to come over and touch it, you know. And also without feeling like the sewing machine is something that I have to take out every single time that I want to use it. I want there to be a spot where it lives, because I just know myself and I know if it's a thing that I have to take out in order to use, it might seem silly. At this stage of my life, it's just a step too far. It's gonna be a barrier and I really want to use it. I want to make something this year with it. Yes, I want to finish knitting that top and maybe knit something else. I also got a little bit of Christmas money to get some more yarn, so maybe start knitting something else after I finish that top. And then I also want to at least start to learn basic sewing skills. The idea of actually making a wearable item of clothing, an actual garment, I just want to be realistic. I want to be realistic with my goals so that they are achievable and they don't end up being something that discourages me instead of fills me with life and vitality. We're keeping things realistic. I would love to learn how to use my sewing machine and set up a space to do so. And last but not least, this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. I want to not be constantly in a state of seeking and curation. I want it to be something that I can pick up and put down as I please. Imagine if this was just the end. Are you imagining? Was that too much? Did I just ruin it? Me at the end of every makeup routine, when I take it just that one step too far. We're gonna powder. That'll fix it. Yeah, I just want to develop an easier grip with it all. I don't want it to be something I'm constantly doing, constantly window shopping, constantly thinking about the next thing that I'm going to purchase. Because I know that that could be true. I could easily stay within that 10 to 15 items and still never stop thinking about it. I could lower the amount that I purchase and still be a compulsive shopper. I don't want to be compulsive even in my thoughts. I want it to be something that is relaxed and easy. And again, joyful. I just dumped a bunch of powder on my iPad. I just dumped a bunch of powder on my hand. This is the Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. I learned this trick from doing my friend's bridal makeup. Basically, when you put the powder on your hand, it warms it up and it makes it meld into your skin so nicely. This is a Eco Tools brush. It doesn't matter what brush you use. You just dab it after it's been sitting in your palm for a while. I typically take whatever's left and just beep, beep, beep. And then wherever, there's shine, or you just want to set things. Yeah. Just rub it away. Rub it away. It never happened. Yeah, so my goal is to tackle this last frontier, this last area where I've struggled so much to feel content, to feel like I have enough. I just want to release just that little bit more. I don't expect perfection of myself. I don't expect that I will do it all perfectly this year, but I just want to move forward in the process of letting what I have be enough and letting the spaces and windows of time where I'm just enjoying the closet that I have get bigger and bigger and bigger. For so many years, it has just been such a focus of mine, even to get out of the quagmire of compulsive shopping. And it's needed to be. Like I mentioned at the beginning, it does take intentionality to stop doing those things, to stop acting that way and thinking that way. But I would love for it more and more and more to be something that I don't have to focus on. And I think it's possible because I've seen it happen with my skincare, seen it happen with my makeup, and I want it to happen with my clothes next. I want to have a wardrobe that serves me and to have a relationship with shopping for clothes that serves me and not the other way around. Okay, that is the makeup. If I'm being realistic, I probably wouldn't do a lip in the day-to-day. I put on Burt's Bees before I started, but I did bring down lipsticks. So what the hey? Another little slather of Burt's Bees, never hurt anybody. These two guys, I'm getting ready to do my friend's makeup for her wedding. And so this is a combo that I'm thinking about for her. It's the Trish McAvoy Veil Lip Color in the shade Easy Nude and the Pat McGrath Labs Satin Allure Lipstick in the shade Nude Venus. Just do a little dab, dab, dab of each, I think. I tend not to like a very heavy lip, so this suits me fine. And we'll call that done. All right, those are all of my wardrobe plans and just some of my general thoughts about approaching my clothing consumption this year, in the year of our Lord 2025. So glad that you're here. If you guys have any particular goals for your wardrobe or strategies that help you have intentionality in that area, I would love if you would share them down below, and I will see you again in the next one.